There is a beautiful, liberating trap built into the way the human mind looks at the world, and nobody exposed it with more wit, elegance, and charm than Alan Watts. He realized that from the moment we are born, we are taught a massive cultural mistake, the idea that the universe is a battleground between opposing forces. We divide reality into neat, conflicting pairs, light versus dark, hot versus cold, pleasure versus pain, and life versus death. We treat these dualities as bitter enemies locked in a cosmic war. But what stepped onto the stage and completely shattered this illusion by introducing a radical truth drawn from Zen and Taoism? He declared that every explicit duality is actually an implicit unity. They are not enemies at all, they are partners in a grand, cosmic dance. To understand what he meant, he asked people to look at the simplest things in nature. Consider a single wave in the ocean. A wave cannot exist with only a crest, it must have a trough. You cannot have the high point without the low point. Think of a coin. It is physically impossible to have a coin with only a head side and no tails, just as it is impossible to meet a person who has a front but no back. Watts explained that our senses function entirely through vibration, which is a rapid, musical alternation between sound and silence, or light and darkness. Yet, because the human mind specializes in narrow, concentrated attention, we fixate only on the positive side, the crest, the heads, the light, and we completely ignore the background that makes it possible. We fall into the exhausting, terrifying trap of believing that the dark side might somehow win, so we spend our entire lives frantically fighting a war to make the sound permanently defeat the silence. But Watts insisted that this battle is completely rigged. You cannot eliminate the negative without simultaneously destroying the positive. If you could somehow eliminate all darkness from the universe, light would instantly become invisible, because there would be nothing left to contrast it against. He taught that trying to have a world with only summer and no winter is a complete misunderstanding of how nature functions. It is an impossible, stagnant imagination. When you realize that the two sides always go together, a profound psychological relaxation takes place. You stop viewing life as a stressful contest that you have to win. You realize that reality is not a war between opposites, but what ancient philosophers called the coincidence of opposites, a system of inseparable differences where each side exists purely to define and celebrate its partner. This completely changes how a person deals with the most painful aspects of the human experience. Most human suffering comes from our desperate attachment to pleasure and our violent resistance to pain. Watts compared this struggle to a person trying to ride a bicycle. If you find yourself leaning too far to one side, you don't panic or try to destroy that direction, you simply turn into the bend, adjust your weight, and find your balance. In the exact same way, a wise person doesn't take sides in the game of existence. When sorrow arrives, you do not treat it as a cosmic mistake or a failure, you recognize it as the necessary valley that gives height to your next mountain of joy. You live in the eternal now, letting go of the need to control the tide, because you know that life is a package deal. He stripped the spiritual path of its heavy, agonizing seriousness and turned it into an act of pure play. He reminded the world that the universe is not an assembly line moving toward a final factory product, nor is it a journey to a distant destination. It is much more like music or a dance. When you listen to a song, the point of the music is not to reach the final chord. If it were, the best songs would be the ones that played the fastest. The point of the music is the listening, the rhythm, and the melody while it is playing. His entire philosophy invites us to stop fighting the natural ups and downs of existence and instead step onto the floor. The moment you stop demanding that the world be only light, you are finally free to enjoy the magnificent, moving masterpiece of the whole dance. If you liked this video, please encourage the channel by hitting like, sharing it with others, and subscribing for more videos.